afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast Extra with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Master Propaganda Heroes like defender over the fatherland off here to 1 vs 1 on Simoski Winter. Between the north, you got Luciano fighting for king and country, the Commonwealth, the 7th Armour, the Desert Rats, caught in the snow, versus those dastardly Huns in the south under command of Panzergen the Angreifen fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the 107th Panzer Brigade, tasked with holding the line until an infantry take other possessions. They are to do their best in service of Deutschland. And we got here Royal Engineers Commander Regiment and Royal Artillery here for Luciano with Triple Infantry versus Angreifen's Jaeger Armour, which you go straight for with Triple Infantry as well. So Jaeger Armour here, that's definitely not your usual 1 vs 1 doctrine, that's for sure. Last time we saw that, I think that was Fortune actually. We got Section Northward there, triple sections out for Luciano, the Commonwealth, as they set out there. Alright chaps, I want plenty of infantry sections out to check every corner, every nook, everything for anything looking remotely and possibly German. Meanwhile, Angreifen, they're taking a slightly more measured approach. And nobody seems to be focusing, I think, on the western fuel point here, the way he's sort of moving up, maybe the centre as well, but he's not pushing for the southern fuel, that's for sure. Which might be because he's worried it gets rushed, which a lot of players tend to do, in which case the Wehrmacht, you kind of sort of left in a bad spot if you didn't rush for it and get caught out in a bad spot. But there you go, second suppressive then for which is a negative cover. Really bolted there by Angreifen, but I imagine he just wants to try and catch that section off guard. Pushing northward, see if he can rush into the house before Luciano realises what's going on. They should have a chance, but otherwise he might be in for... No, apparently decides not to, and actually allows Angreifen to possibly rush the house, though, which is an interesting choice there by Luciano. But I guess he really wants the fuel pump, but at the same time doesn't want to... I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what exactly he's not rushing that house for. He's basically allowing Angreifen to set up shop right next to the fuel pump, which is going to make it much harder for Luciano to fight around it. But there you go. Can't easily get to it due to the presence of the sections, but at the same time he can't really move much further either way. You got more grenadiers out there for Angreifen, second squad moving up here behind the MD42 section falling out here. Luciano still with 3 sections. In fact, he's going for an incredibly fast tech up into sappers. So that is an interesting choice there from Luciano. Sappers this fast is, well, not unusual, but it's not the most common ride. There we go, Grenadier sneaking up here, catching Luciano off guard. Oh dear. Bad news. Could actually shift the machine gun. There we go, he's going to shift the machine gun up here to the house and then further pressure Luciano, further sandwiching him into an awkward spot. And there we go, going to attack from the north now. Having ascertained no one's going to attack from the north here. There we go. Oh dear, a nice attack there from Angreifen on Luciano, catching him completely unawares. How dreadful here for Luciano, for the Commonwealth. The Desert Rats foiled in the snow by the Huns. Up north, the Pioneers found themselves beaten quite silly by another section though. No chance there for survival. And that's going to quickly force Angreifen to set up a Grenadier squad to deal with that. Sappers moving forwards here. Noting he's got no doctrine for flamethrowers, so he can't, for example, easily just flush Angreifen out of the houses. They did catch the machine gun and there with a few Sten gun shots to the face. Surprisingly effective range on those submachine guns, actually. I mean, he's doing some reasonable damage at this range, but it's not really where submachine guns ought to be that effective. It's not massive, but still, it's noticeable. Gotta say, that's a bit of a surprise. Up north, this section taking lots from the Grenadiers fighting here from Cub. University on the way there for Luciano. MD4 switching up, Grenadiers moving in, 3 Grenadiers, 1 MD4, 2 up here. We got section reinforcing, and we got the University on the way there for Luciano, almost done. He was likely going to go here for a Wasp, maybe to try and burn out. I mean, on this map, you kind of want flamethrowers. So of course, it would just, you know, be less than the usual thing. Most Brits don't usually rush out Wasps, I think, but on this map, it does make sense. Grenadiers for a section here, section in a bad state, and we just see him retreating here, rather than keep wasting manpower versus Angreifen. It'll be interesting to see how much Angreifen actually intends to use this doctrine. We'll be laying down regal mines, we'll be using, you know, reconnaissance, scouts, bomb strikes, we'll even be going for the elephant. As for Luciano, I mean, it's not the most usual choice of doctrines either, but it's not quite Jaeger armor on the other hand. Second sapper squad there for Luciano, who's committing to a lot of sappers here. And the sort of wasps hanging back. Grenadiers that are retreating, they're not going to have any of that. M4 retreating as well, fighting here from the northern fuel point, as at the same time Angreifen securing the south. Very good. Trying to diversify his fuel flow. And overall, we can see just Angreifen pretty much, more or less, abandons the entire front line here as Luciano rolls ahead. There's one big retreat there, and that's going to mean Luciano basically has more or less unimpeded movement here. He can just grab whatever he wants to, so this could make things a bit awkward there for Angreifen's going to have to fight harder than to get territory back versus his opponent. We have takeover there almost done. We got medic banks up rather well. Going to definitely prove helpful. And there you go, Pioneers catching the section, but we got the Wasp moving in to burn those Huns. There we go, bit of damage down there. Section trying to escape the Pioneers, but without being able to respond, the Pioneers just essentially get a lot of free damage, which basically allows them to just take out half the section. But instead, they do find themselves forced to retreat due to the section into the house, but also the Wasp pursuing them. Fire stick on these dealing with the sappers. Sappers that are taking heavy damage right here from the Grenadiers. Should give the Grenadiers a good chance of being the sappers overall. Of course, if you send some of the Wasp there, that might not quite last as long there for Angreifen. No like to make a nice company up yet there for Angreifen. They should probably go for one soon. I do not think he's quite in the position for tier 3 rush at all. Nor does he really have the resources anyway. So there you go. Like to make a nice company out going up there for Angreifen for Germany. Komm on, Fritz, mach schnell mit die Panzerfaust. Ja, good work, Fritz. Don't worry about Ludwig, he was particularly flammable anyways. Up north, the section taking quite a beating there, pardon them, because they stuck their heads out into negative cover. That was really unfortunate there for Luciano. The bit of good luck there for Angreifen. In the south, their section advancing, grabbing territory, fixing up the US coverage, take the Panzerfaust hit, and we got the infantry moving and opening up then the sappers, or the section, and we got a half-track on the way there. That's likely going to be a flame for a half-track. He's also flying with a Pack 40, probably anticipating an armoured car there from Luciano, which in fact he is requisitioning. So it does make sense there what Angreifen's got going there. He's taking no chances, because otherwise if he does push for the half-track, I mean if he was going for the flame for a half-track, and he doesn't have the munitions for the Regal Mines, he's going to be very vulnerable to an AC, and versus the Wehrmacht, ACs tend to be a very good choice if they at any point decide to go for light vehicles, which they in several cases tend to do, though of course there are some who don't, and even if they don't, you know, try to rush to tier 3, the AC can pressure them and punish them for just rushing it. So there's a lot of situations where the AC's just really good. Needs to treat the MD42 there. He's rather, I think, pushing his luck, and this is actually a bit of an awkward case of unit preservation, almost losing his MD42, in fact could still lose it. 251, Mittlerer Schützen, Panzerwagen rolling ahead here for Angreifen. Flamethrowers are almost ready to go, and the Pack 40 as well here for Angreifen. Germany. Oh, so you think you got a big flamethrower? Just you wait and see, friend. We've got some bigger ones, and we got more too. See? Ah, see all they drove away, the cowards. AC on the way, obviously in response to the flame for a half-track. Getting scorched out in the open. Pioneers push back. Wasp moving in. No mines nearby, of course, here for Angreifen. There does have a mission to take to lay down the Regal Mines now. I mean, laying down one in the right place could have quite the nasty effect then Luciano at some point. So I do think it's considered. I mean, always again, you're just sort of slightly wondering why did he go for Jaeger armor. In the south, he was dealing with Grenadiers, but a bit too close there. A bit too close in Panzerfaust there by Jürgen. Leaves the Wasp a bit dinged up. Pack 40 advancing here. Flam Panzerwagen move. Ooh, we got Regal Mines. We got Regal Mines. Lovely. You could also consider Panzer Grenadier squad here versus all of Luciano's infantry, particularly since he's not upgraded any of them with weapons. The Panzer Grenadiers should have a good chance. In fact, he hasn't even bolstered them. But there you go, AC out. There we go, burning through the sections, burning through the vicars, burning through the villages. AC vicars, section moving back here through the fires, and there you go, direct hit on the flame for a half-tack. Pop smoke and shoots through the smoke there. Bit awkward there for Angreifen. I think he would have just been fast enough in his reflex. He could have pulled it behind the church, but in this case, either he wasn't paying attention or something went wrong. Either way, the AC got the flame for half-track pretty easily. So it didn't quite have the impact I think Angreifen wanted it to have. Like, it did some damage, but overall it didn't really wipe anything. Nor did they sort of really change how the battle map is drawn so far. Like, it's still sort of roughly a 50-50 split. around the northern edge of the village. We got the panzer grenadiers on the way there for Angreifen. Grenadiers setting up. We got the wasps that are burning away. Half HFX need 2 back on the base, healing reinforcement. We got the bolters on the way there for Luciano now, making his men tougher by gaining them more men. Plus, of course, increasing the damage output that way. Overall, it's a very, very strong upgrade. And certainly makes a bunch of sense. I'm just a bit surprised it took Luciano this long to consider it. Sab's getting blasted there by the MD-42. Has Angreifen considered taking up? Not yet. At least not from what we can see. He's going for a second pack 40. That would indicate he is not planning on tier 3 though. Usually a double pack or any sort of double-ended tank in most cases, but particularly with the Wehrmacht, double packs usually means they're trying to stall. They know they're going to get hit by a lot of medium armor until they can sort of get out whatever they want. So, considering he can't call in a Tiger, I think he might actually be playing here for tier 4. He's actually planning to skip tier 3 for tier 4. No, he cancelled the pack 40, so maybe not. Maybe decide those 2 bugs that goes for mortar instead. Certainly a bit of indecision there from Angreifen. You got the panzer grenadiers here. Getting here closer. It's actually shooting someone.
Armored car here. What next? Enemy infantry. A capture point is being overrun.
Alright, that was just a bit weird. Just fired there random. Was like, what's over there? Am I missing something? But no, it's just a weird targeting error, I guess. Panzer grenadiers are trying to rush through the fires of hell and assault the universal carrier there, the Wasp. They're kind of doing some damage, but I wouldn't necessarily call this the best move there by Angreifen Panzer grenadiers. We actually got a Vickers up now, setting up here. Geballte Ladung, they are bunched up sufficiently and actually managed, I think, to throw from an angle where the cover bonus doesn't apply. I think to keep in mind is if a grenade goes over heavy cover, it does only 50 damage. But if you sort of throw from any other angle, so it doesn't, go over the cover, it does full damage. Right here, he was able to wipe Luciano's Vickers machine gun with a bung grenade. But the little fun fact there about how heavy cover works versus grenades.
We have 300 points remaining.
And there we go. Angreifen scores himself a Vickers machine gun. Luciano suddenly found an awkward spot, and we got here commandos calling in likely some commando gliders soon enough with commandos in them. Back here we got take off Angreifen, and yes, he is in fact going for a tier 4 rush. But I think he's sort of considering he's feeling with the fuel situation they can actually get away with just a 1 pack 40 here versus Luciano. Which, depending on the situation, of course, would be quite bold, but considering he's got good map control versus Luciano, I think it will work out. Commanders landing here close to the northern edge of the village. Troops just retreat. He's just complete rout here from Angreifen. Like, he's just lost his nerve a bit. He asked Luciano sweep through the center there. Universal Carrier's good to go. The Wasp could burn up some of those Krauts. Hands. He should probably deal with the machine gun though. And there we go. Burns away at it. Scorching through. And they're going to flank up. No, he's by way of cutting off the retreat here, possibly of the machine gun and the pack here. You could have a very good chance of them getting it back. Panzer remote strength to the commandos. Oh, can he get the machine gun? Doesn't look like it, but still he could get here the bung grenade off. Dodged. Almost got the pack 40. Machine gun gets away. Instead, it's just going to focus on the pack 40, which would certainly help out a ton here versus whatever Angreifen plans to get. Angreifen, by the way, going for a fuel cache. Pack wiped. Grenadiers wiped. Quite a series of losses there for Angreifen, actually. But still, he's got such a lead, he can probably still get away whatever he's planning, which again seems to be a tier 4 rush. Morton plays one up for Luciano now. I'm not entirely sure about that. Universal almost down. Morton placement almost up. Need to grab the fuel. Need to get it connected. And need to move into the village as well. And of course, in this regard, he does have the advantage of the Horsa glider acting as a fort reinforcement point here. Makes him a bit harder to push off for however long it lasts, which, considering his state of health, is not going to be long. Didn't exactly make those Horsa gliders to be very durable. So the RPS runs there, repulses the AC, and there we go. Morton plays an opening up. Terry, is this the right way we're supposed to point it? Mostly, I think. So there you go, mortifying the church from here. Luciano's Morton placement on the ridge. Commanders moving up, not connecting the fuel point right away. Should definitely be a priority there. Sending the sappers for that. Lots of mortar AC rolling and catching the machine gun out in the open. Gonna just getting ready with the Panzerfaust. There you go. Damaging the engine of the AC, leaving Luciano less mobile. But still, he's not getting the fuel point. This is really critical. He needs to get it connected. Like, it doesn't matter if he's got the fuel point if it's not connected. At that most, he's just denying Angreifen fuel, but he needs fuel now. In particular, again, if Angreifen is really determined to get off his Panzer plan, and I imagine he might be rushing out for Sturmpanzer here or the Panther. With what Luciano has right now, the Panther could actually be rather devastating. He's only got a single Pack 40 stone and the AC. Beyond that, he's a bit lacking. And he's got an armor to really threaten back with. In this regard, he's not doing himself a particularly large set of favours by not connecting that fuel point. Hell, I mean, ground ammunitions here won't do much without that point being all connected. So Luciano might be just not paying attention, might have realised that that's a possibility here, but he should then be very quick about realising it before it's too late. There you see sappers falling around here, Pack pulling back into the base, section moving out. There you go, rifling it off, easily dodged here by the sappers. Mortar in place for frying there, pretty close range, and there you go, landing several hits, taking out numerous Germans with a single mortar round. Very good work there, very good work. Have we got Panzer Grenadier versus Sappers. Fighting on the eastern victory point, noting Luciano's way down to 164. Quite awkward. And there you go, AC rolling up behind here. No anti-tank weapons to really stop him. There's only the Regal mines. Oh, Sappers wiped out by the Panzer Grenadiers. Quite a loss there for Luciano, quite a loss. You see Universal moving out, he back here, reinforcement healing, and oh, he hit a mine. He hit a mine with the AC. That's pretty good there for Angreifen. He's also going there for the Panzerkampfwagen 5. Luciano has still not connected any of the points. Looks like he's getting finally sending in something to do it. Only took him several minutes, and that was basically several minutes worth of lost resources. So that is not good. Oh, well, the Panzer was in the east, but he's still under quite a bit of pressure here from Angreifen, and the Panther is not, I think, going to make things awfully easy. In particular, if Luciano, or Angreifen, I mean, remembers to get machine guns on it and then use it reasonably effectively. But there you go, finally connected the fuel point and the munitions point and the other point there as well. Took Luciano quite a bit of time there. Certainly quite. Oh! Was that another telemine? Wow, he did actually mine that spot. Interesting. Like, Angreifen has been mining a lot more than I realised.
A capture point is being overrun.
I mean, it took him some time, but ultimately he just got both of Luciano's light vehicles with telemines then. That's not bad at all. Luciano calling in a second commando squad as the Panther arrives here. The Panzerkampfwagen 5. So that's going to be interesting to see how he handles that. I mean, he's got the Pack 40, but beyond that, his measures for the really damaging it are limited, particularly after he lost the AC, which could at least maybe immobilized it. So there you go, Panther strikes for the fatherland. No pinback machine guns such as the Hull and Crackshell machine gun. Hot in pursuit of the commandos. Step on it, Fritz! I want to hear the sound of commandos being crushed beneath my treads. It's been too long since last. When was last? Dieppe. Well, that was mostly Canadians, but you know, there was a few commandos that crashed too. Positive as the commandos. Oh! Got a wipe, quite a loss of Luciano, quite a loss. Still no take up, no additional anti-tank guns. These, I actually got the manpower, I think. Victory points wise, Luciano is lacking aggressively behind Angreifen still. Got the Pack 40 sitting up there, and the Panther shot bounces off it like a rock off a wall. Second pack shot bounces as well. Pretty rough luck there for Luciano. as Angreifen pulls the Panther back a bit. And finally Luciano is taking out there. Not helped though by the fact he was just getting the field. And also I think he should have tried harassing more him, and obviously I think this is still overall the best place to focus for a northern player, but I think he should have tried a bit more harassment on the eastern side. There we go, Pack penetrating the rear armour here of the Panther. But Sandy can't keep up otherwise due to the way the village sort of lays out. And the house blocking the Pack 40. Panther rolling about here, sweeping through Luciano's lines. 7th Armoured is struggling here as the 1 and 7th Panther Brigade. Heavy machine gun fire being unleashed against the house. The walls very, very slowly crumbling away, but crumbling away nonetheless. And 2nd glider is down. Mortar fire not making a noticeable impact on the Panther, though theoretically had they hit, say, the rear part of the Panther, could have done some damage. Like, they actually lost King Tigers due to that in Arnhem, because they hit the radiators and that basically just prevented the tank from working. It's a little fun fact there. Angreifen up with Grenadiers, Pioneers, and a 2nd mortar. Interesting choice there, interesting choice. Ooh, straight into the commandos and straight away from the commandos. Got work harassing by, he's not trying to just hit the fuel point directly. He knows that's going to be quite costly. But if he can hit the calf point A, he can force his opponent to have to react to that, which of course draws away force from the front line, but it's also just safe to get away from due to being further away from the mortar emplacement. That's overall, I think, a really clever move that he's been sort of committing to repeatedly. And then he of course goes for the fuel point directly when he could just keep killing the calf point. Mortar spotted here with a double sections repulsed, leaving Angreifen with nothing really in the east of note. And we got the Panthers moving up here, hitting a mine. But I don't think you're able to match it to the mortar emplacement unless Luciano allows it to happen. It should certainly be a bit of a surprise if he did. 3rd Commander Squad. I mean, Luciano's just so far behind the fuel. Like, all he's got is manpower. He just keeps calling in commandos. He's down to less than 100 points versus Angreifen, though. Less than 100 points. Panther getting the section out in the open. There you go, landing good hit with the main gun. Totaling up now to 3 hit kills with the Panther. Mine went off somewhere. Commander sweeping out, heading for that eastern fuel point. The other one is now guarded by a machine gun there. And his Vickers in particular, it would be, since it doesn't have access to any other abilities. Activated abilities is like the MD-42 with the incendiary piercing rounds. Panther moving ahead here, weaving through British lines. Commander dealing with the Grenadiers, but there's no anti-tank weapons immediately nearby to help deal with the Panther. And we got here air supremacy operation for Luciano. I don't think he's got the resource to make anything out of it. As far as he's going to deal with the Panther, I'm guessing Luciano's going to have to go for a Firefly. Should also think consider second anti-tank and until then just to help deal with the Panthers. And is Angreifen actually playing for an elephant? I mean, he's almost got the fuel for it, and he's also close to having the manpower on each of his command points. Obviously, an elephant in this situation would be kind of folly. Wouldn't really do him a lot of good. I mean, Luciano doesn't exactly have many armoured threats or even big threats. So, like, there's not really much need for the elephant. He could have just as well go for a 2nd Panther or Sturm Panther, but he's got the resources more or less, yet he's not pursuing that option. So I'm not entirely sure here what Angreifen is thinking. Cromwell on the way for Luciano. There's a Panther on the field. He's only got 1 anti-tank and he goes for a Cromwell. I think here Luciano ought to be aiming for the Firefly and then support that with another anti-tank gun as soon as possible. Instead, he's sort of going in the opposite direction. He's making it easier for the Panther to harm him, since the Cromwell doesn't particularly fare well in a head-on fight with the Panther. The only way this could get worse is if he just went for a 2nd Panther. Theoretically elephant as well, but the Panther's just faster and more expensive. Less expensive, damn it, less expensive. It costs less to get a Panther than it does the elephant. Damn you, Dane. damn you. Air reconnaissance from Angreifen, so we got spotting scopes, we got reconnaissance, we actually got Regal under tank mounts as well, so he's actually been using reasonable amounts of his doctrine. So that's pretty good. Panther takes the rate from the 6-pound, the Pack 40 hit, penetrating hit, immediately forcing Angreifen to fall back with his Panther for some extra repairs. Immediate mortar fire though is immediately summoned on the Pack 40. Good God, those Germans! They really seem to hate us! Oh God, we're dead! So dead! Second there's the Grenadiers, lots of light machine gun fire, plus we got the pinlock machine on the Panther as well, 4 kills, half H efficiency 1. We got mortar support called in on the German positions. Trying to force them out of the village. He cancelled the Cromwell there, guessing he realised he needs something a bit bigger. With a bit more punch. But instead of most of the mortar fire actually ends up hitting the church, he can't use it. He did get the mortar with it though. The mortar cover did get the mortar, so that's pretty good. It's pretty unfortunate from that most of the mortar rounds end up hitting the church. Stop firing! We're in the church! It's not filled with Germans! But it's not the Anglican church! I don't care! Stop shooting at it, you bastards! Second Panther comes. Doesn't end up going for the elephant, he ends up going for a second Panther. That's going to be double Panthers versus whatever Luciano gets, who does get something in terms of armor. And that's going to be rather aggressively undergunned. Outnumbered for that matter. Still, it's not very often you get to see Jäger or double Panthers, really, which is one of the primary reasons I end up just casting this as an extra. I mean, again, it might not be quite fully material for a full episode, but, you know, that's sort of as an extra thing, a bit of an aside. I do feel like it was a bit funny enough to sort of, you know, pull through here, since, again, how often do you see double Panthers in Jäger armor in a 1 versus 1? I think the answer is never. Troops bring attention to the Panther. Light machine guns opening up in the advancing British troops. Keep shooting, Fritz. Keep shooting until she stops screaming or she starts screaming even more. As the way works. But overall, Luciano's not having much luck in dislodging Angreifen. Troop charging and the Grenadiers for finding pushed back. Second Panther out. Pinlock machine on the way for that one as well. So double Panthers here for Angreifen. That might well be the tipping point here for Luciano. There we go, faced with 2 Panthers and absolutely no serious counter. He goes for a Firefly versus 2 Panthers. The Firefly's going to struggle very hard. So there you go. I mean, he was actually able to rush for tier 4, skipping tier 3 in the process, get out of Panther. It was a bit risky here. It probably was helped by Luciano. I think focusing a bit too much here at times, not getting this in, but at the same time also just not outmaneuvering and not harassing enough here down here as well. So there were some issues, I think, for Luciano, sort of how he approached the map. Overall, though, I mean, North Samoski and North Samoski Winter aren't the most favourable positions, no matter how you look at it. I do think he should have had a machine gun out sooner. And I think he might actually been too slow, you know, bolstering up, and instead too fast in teching out. I think there's some issues there for Luciano. And, like, I don't know, I feel like he ultimately would be able to use the docks a bit better, a bit sooner, so an assault in the right place, or even smoke radar break, I think could also have some difference here versus Angreifen. Angreifen, I think, played pretty well, took advantage of the opportunity given to him, and of course, I mean, 2 Panthers is pretty neat, So there you go, hope you enjoyed this little Propagandacast extra. If you did, you know, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. This is Imperial Lane signing off. We're back another time with another video. Cheers, everybody.